Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, you're well, guys. So, a common question I'm often asked is, how many jobs should I apply for? Now, this is something I talk about regularly in my videos. And for me, the answer is quite obvious, right? You've probably heard it from me a few times now. But inshallah, in today's video, I just wanted to provide some context. So firstly, it's important to revisit the application process for most graduate and apprenticeship schemes. And in most instances, you'll have an online application, which is followed by online tests such as numerical, verbal reasoning. You may have some diagram-based tests, and then you'll have a first stage interview followed by an assessment center. That is the general process for most graduate and apprenticeship schemes. It's important to note that in a graduate and apprenticeship process, there are many more stages than what I'd say is a normal interview process. So as an example, if I was to move roles right now, I wouldn't expect more than a 1 or 2 stage interview process, right? And even then, it would just be an interview. Okay, it wouldn't be online tests or an assessment center as such. And that's very important to focus on, guys, because that means you have many more stages where you can fail, right? You could fail at the online application stage. And if you get through that, it could be the online test stage. If you get through that, it's first round interview where you could fail, and then at your assessment center stage. So it's important to note that because there are many more stages in an apprenticeship or a graduate application, that means that there are more opportunities to fail. And this is made worse by the fact that it's very likely to be an early experience or your first experience of applying to one of these schemes. So you may find yourself failing the first 1 or 2 attempts at the online application stage. Then once you master that, you might fail a few times when you get to the online test stage. And then very quickly, you'll find that it takes around 10 to 15 applications maybe before you've gone through the whole process from online application to an assessment center. Another point to consider is which service line to go into. Do you want to go into consulting, tax, audit? What do you want to do after those service lines? Do you want to go into investment banking, which I get asked about a lot? Do you want to go into industry, which again I get asked about a lot? Do you want to work in practice? Do you want to start in industry? There's loads of things to consider. And the chances are you're not going to really have the best idea when you're applying to these schemes, because in most instances you wouldn't have had any relevant experience. And even if you do all the research in advance, you speak to as many people who work in audit, trust me, take it from me, guys, I can guarantee you that your experience will not be like those, that your experience will be unique. So considering this, why would you limit your options? When people say, which service line should I go into? I say apply first, get your offers in, and then decide. There's no point you deciding audit as an example, applying to audit schemes only, limiting your options, and then not even getting an offer at the end. You may as well apply to other schemes, see what offers you get, and then make an informed decision. Apply to practice, apply to industry, apply to different service lines. I even tell people to apply to companies they know they won't work for. You can use the opportunity just to see how an assessment center works, just to see how an interview works, how the online tests are different. It can be used as good practice before securing an offer which is right for you. You've got to be smart about your applications. I often talk about tactical applications as well, guys. So if you know that you won't work for a particular firm or company, apply to them first. See what their questions were like. See how that application goes. Then apply shortly after. Don't wait too long, because these applications do have deadlines and it's always good to apply as early as possible. But shortly after, apply to the organizations that you do see yourself working at, because then you would have had some experience. Honestly, guys, I always say to people, the application process isn't a measure of intelligence. Those who put the effort in and those who devote the time and put the commitment in, they will inshallah see success. It's not about how smart you are. It's about how smart you work. Now, if it's not clear already, my advice is quite simple. Apply anywhere and everywhere. And inshallah, if I do get asked this question, how many jobs should I apply for? I'll be referring these guys back to this video. And I want to use a practical example now, guys. So on screen right now, you should be able to see an application tracker. So I came across this on a graduate's profile on LinkedIn. Alhamdulillah, the person was sharing this and they kindly agreed for me to use this image just to help people out. But you can see on screen now that they have made 50 graduate applications approximately, and they only received the one offer. This is the one highlighted in green with Deloitte. So out of approximately 50 applications, they only had the one offer. Obviously, guys, they were unsuccessful at every other application, and you can see that in a number of instances, it was at the online test stage, which corroborates what I was saying earlier, that because it's your first time, you're not going to have much experience, and the tests do differ per company, per firm, chances are you will need at least a few attempts before you master that particular stage. So you can see in this instance, the person struggled with the online test stage. But alhamdulillah, this person persevered. They continued to apply. I'm not going to lie, about 50 applications is actually really good. They were quite committed. You can see they had their own application tracker. They were noting down where they had interviews, at what stage they were rejected, when they were rejected. So you can see this person is quite committed, which comes on to my final point. I often hear a lot of what I say excuses. I know people have other things, right? People have to focus on their A levels. People have to focus on their dissertations in their third year. Honestly, that's a common one. I hear a lot of people say, I couldn't apply early because of my dissertation in my third year. But just remember, guys, for all of your reasons or your excuses, however you want to see them, right? There will always be people who will balance everything out. They will focus on their dissertation, but do their applications at the same time. And it's those people that will inshallah succeed because they are committed to both activities, right? They don't prioritize one over the other. And inshallah, if you do find yourself in that situation, maybe it's a hint to focus on your time management skills. But guys, I always recommend, please do not neglect your applications because you may be in a situation where instead of having 50 opportunities to apply to, you only have 10 because you've been focusing on that dissertation, because you've been focusing on your A-level exams. And then when you may not get an offer, you may feel forced to go and do something else, which isn't really right for you. So inshallah, that's given you some food for thought, but hopefully I've cleared it once and for all in terms of how many applications to do. When it comes to graduate and apprenticeship schemes, the answer is quite simple. Apply anywhere and everywhere. Okay, you don't really know about a place till you start doing your role, so why limit your options? As always, if you have any questions or queries, please feel free to comment below or message me on Instagram.